Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. I've got an exciting video for you here today. As you know, the guy on screen right here with me, I've talked about him a lot. You guys are all fans of him anyway, half of you I know, because we talk about him all the time. So we've got Phil from Wings of Pegasus here to share with us some exciting new things that he's working on. He's been dropping hints on his channel. If you follow him, you've been hearing about this here and there, that there's some exciting new initiatives that he's working on. And I think we kind of have a hint about what this stuff might be, but I'm excited to get into some detail work and talk with you a little bit about it. So we're welcoming Phil. Here's Phil from Wings of Pegasus. Thanks for joining us here, Phil. So
hello. Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
And it's all quite exciting at the moment because I've been working on something for probably just over a year now. So it's been a long time coming, and it's been a long time that I haven't been able to say anything about what I've been working on. But yes, it's kind of all coming to fruition now, which is great. And it's very much related to what I do on my channel. In a nutshell, what I've been working on is a service that is going to authenticate vocals. So it's going to let people know what they're going to be listening to. And I'm focusing really to begin with on live events. So when people buy tickets for a show, they know what they are paying for, because that, I would say, that's probably the main point that people bring up when they email me. And sometimes with the videos that I've done in the past on, big bands, and that people have been to watch and have paid maybe hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on those tickets. And then I do a video saying that, oh, this is lip synced, or this is auto-tuned, or whatever it might be, because I'm just pointing out what's going on. And I then get emails from people saying, I went to that show and that isn't what I paid for. And I regret paying that amount of money. If I'd known it wasn't going to be live, or if it was going to be lip synced, whatever it might be, I would not have gone to that show. And unfortunately, nowadays with ticket prices, it can be thousands of dollars. So it's almost like a life choice. You think, well, should I buy tickets for that? It's a lot of money, because that could go to so many other more important things, like bills and, but so it's a really tough decision for people. But then they think, right, well, I'm only ever going to be able to see this live maybe this time, so I'm going to go and watch it. And then, I mean, some people even turned up and could tell that it wasn't live, that it was lip synced. So yeah, really, that was the driving force behind it. And my focus to begin with is going to be authenticating live performances, so people know what they're paying for. So
I have a million questions about it already. How are you going to do it? Like, how's this going to work? This says, what an ambitious thing. I mean, as far as I have a million questions about. So can you get into a little bit more of the logistics and the granular, like how?
Yeah. So what I've done and what I've kind of worked over the last year is getting a registered trademark, which is something that can only be applied to authenticated performances. So it's illegal for anyone else to use this trademark. So, I mean, once I kind of had that covered from a legal standpoint, it meant that, right, now what I do on my channel with analyzing performances, running it through pitch monitoring software, and what I do that I don't show, for every analysis video, I will watch other performances that I'm not showing in the final video, but I'm building up a baseline of somebody's voice in terms of their natural tendencies, their overall pitch accuracy. Even though when I do check out, and you'll know when you do check out a performance and it's clearly pitch corrected or auto-tuned, you can tell straight away, not even having that knowledge of how they sing fully live. You can hear, well, yeah, this is obviously being tuned or has been, post-edited. So what I don't show on my videos is, getting that basic appreciation of somebody's voice. And I'm going to be applying exactly what I've been doing for the last however many years on my channel with people that would want to be authenticated. Will get in touch with me, and there'll be the website, which is just authenticvocal.com, and they can go on there. And already I've had great support from people in the vocal coaching community, but also in the industry generally, and the production side of things, and bands and singers themselves who all sound very positive about bringing this in, because I mean, all it's doing at the end of the day is giving people transparency or the option to make an informed decision about what they might want to spend their money on, which is something that is afforded to every consumer apart from the music industry. It's like you can pay for something, you can turn up and then realize this isn't what I paid for. So, where do I go to get my refund? And then the music industry says, no, you've paid. And that's it. That's the end of it, even though we weren't really being honest with what you were paying for.
So people will reach out to you and they'll say, hey, I want to be a certified Phil organic artist, and you get the little trademark. So then my next question is, when you do this analysis, will you reject people that have auto-tune or are singing live but have backing tracks? Like, where do you draw the line on getting the trademark and not getting the trademark?
Yeah. So how it's going to run is people will get in touch with me, and I'm assuming it's going to be, potentially every kind of artist, even independent artists that just want people to know, look, if you
like this is the real deal. Yeah, right.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm actually going to be singing live. So when they approach me and approach Authentic Vocal, and I'm kind of overseeing everything because it's kind of my project.
Do you have a team? You're working with a team then?
No, at the moment it's just me.
Okay.
And I mean, this is something about me, is that I do take on quite a lot of stuff myself.
I know. I watch your work, dude. I thought I'm doing a lot. Your output's insane. It's good.
So yeah, I mean, throughout my kind of music career, it's always been the case that I've had to end up learning to do whatever I wanted to do myself because other people let you down. So it's very much the same here. So this is what I'm calling a side project with, Wings of Pegasus and everything that I do on my channel. But there's a chance that if it does take off and if it kind of goes as positively as I'm hoping, then it might be then the case of, turning it more into a hiring business that I need more people to help me out with this. But at the moment, it's going to be myself doing it. And it might get to a point where I can't do it all myself, but I with what this is about and what it entails, I like the idea of me being in control and people knowing me from my YouTube channel.
Right.
So they know what they're signing up for. And if I'm behind an artist or, a singer, vocalist, that's my reputation that I'm putting behind them with this logo. So how it will work is that they'll contact me, say, look, I'm interested in getting authenticated. I can say, great, fine. Give me the project that you're working on. And it's most likely going to be live dates. So I'll then have a list of their dates that they might want to put on their promotional material for their tour, for example, where they can put the logo on there so that people, when they look at that tour, they can see, oh, this is going to be a live vocal. And it might be put on tickets as well. That's probably something that Ticketmaster will have to kind of work out with the artist or something. But if they can have this trademark, it means everybody knows it's going to be fully live. And at the point of them making that request of me, I'm going to do what I do with my analysis videos. Like you said, get that background appreciation of them as an artist, their sound, whether they have used auto-tune or pitch correction or lip synced live. There's a lot of stuff on the internet, so you can find a lot of performances, even ones from years and years ago. So it's kind of building up that. But like I said, it's kind of my reputation that I'm putting behind them. So we come to an agreement and we sign a contract. They sign a contract with me and they say that, right, I'm going to do as you request in this particular contract. And if that contract is breached on the, say, for example, I mean, I can't see people doing this. I don't know why they would do this, but let's say, for example, they've signed a contract with me saying that it's going to be authentically live and everything. And then they perform, which I will be monitoring. So this is another thing, that when they play a show, I'm going to either get footage from that show, which either I can get myself, or I've got lots of other people who can go to a show and just record it on their phone, because that's all I need is their vocal. And it means that, like I said, I don't know why somebody would do this, but let's say, for example, that they go out and they're covered by Authentic Vocal and they're lip syncing or they're using auto tune, then that's it. You know,
revoke the trademark.
Exactly. Yeah. Everything is
Permanent
taken away.
banned.
And what I say on there's like an information sheet that people get when, you know, going through the process, and on the contract as well. I'm very clear about it, that if you breach, you know, this agreement, that because it's my reputation on the line, it means that you're not going to be covered. And any future covering, if you say, oh look, we made a mistake, can you cover us for this future show, it's most likely going to impact negatively on that. Right. So, and the other thing is that, you know, people know that I have a channel that's got a fair amount of subscribers on it. And if somebody does breach a contract on that side of things, I can mention it on my channel. So it means potentially there's a lot of reasons not to, to kind of, you know, oh, we'll use this so that we can maybe pretend to be something we're not.
The internet is big, but it's also small. So, you know, they can, and you do have some followers that they do, you know, you've trained your followers. You have some real people with skills for pitch analysis in your crew. They're now are in my crew too, that talk with me all the time. And they're like, you know, so it's exciting that you know, your content is engaging. It's fun to watch, but you're pointing out things that are, you know, that's so important. And you've got so many people that are passionate about this movement that you've created. It's amazing. It's really exciting to watch it. And for, you know, to do my little part to share out to my people and say, hey, you know, this is really exciting. And for me, it's so important because from my standpoint, as we talked about before, like I've been a voice teacher for 25 years, like building muscle memory, myelinating neural pathways, helping people figure out you play guitar, you sing, you do all of this stuff. You know what it takes to build muscle memory. It's a slow, consistent, steady journey of a hell of a lot of hard work. And it's something that we can't, like, using software and things to skirt around that when someone's done that work. And then, you know, I was so shocked when I realized how few people could hear it. When I thought it was obvious, and I'll show it to people and they'll say, wait, I don't hear it, or I'm not hearing it like you, Tim. And it's like, to me, I'm like, I hear a half a second and it's like, oh my God, like this is, and I feel like now after 8 months of this reacting, I feel like now, I mean, I can pick out, I bought Antares software, the AutoTune Pro 11. I bought it. I didn't have it. I've had some of like the Logic softwares, but I bought Antares AutoTune Pro. I bought the latest Melodyne just so that I could be up to date on things, because I wanted to tinker with it and see how it's done. And I was blown away by Antares AutoTune Pro 11. I don't know if you've played with it recently, but they've got this like humanize button on it, and they've got these, you know, the variability on it is freaky. And so you sit down and play with that for an hour or so, and you start seeing how they can soften the intensity of the pitch correction, as well as, you know, make it kick in a way that it just leaves a little looseness in it, but it's still correcting. It's mind-blowing what it's like. We're working 10 times harder to fake it out, but it's leaving these little digital artifacts, which I know you hear them too. I've watched your video. As soon as they kick on, I go, oh, that's definitely corrected. I know, I can see you have a little like, and so it's like, this is such an important thing, because as a voice teacher, like I was really blind to it before, truly. Like before, I knew people were doing it, but to the level that people were doing it, and, you know, there were some people that do it, and it feels a little more like an artistic thing, you know, like you listen to sometimes hip hop artists, or like the duet with Lana Del Rey and Quavo, that song Tough. Like that was an artistic effect. It was kind of like that hip hoppy, you know, almost like that T-Pain-ish effect. And that's really almost a part of the genre of the style. But then when we start talking about artists who are literally trying to deceive you about what they're doing, that's like, I sang this, but I don't want you to think it was that. I want you to think it was something else, but it's not like a style thing. This is just me faking it. When I realized how much of that was happening, I was thinking about my students. Like, I'm still a full-time voice teacher. YouTube's eating a lot of my time, but like, I still have a full client roster. I still have instructors that are teaching with me, that we talk voice pedagogy and technique all the time. And, for me to realize how many people are idolizing singers that rarely are singing live. They're idolizing their voice. Like, oh my God, I can't believe fill in the blank just did that last night on fill in the blank's show, and then I'll say, well, actually they didn't do that. So don't necessarily hold yourself to that standard. It's cool that now we're going to have artists that we can say, hold yourself to that standard, because that's legit. That's a real voice, so.
Yeah, I think there are certainly different angles. When I was designing this and thinking of, people that are paying money to see things and it's not what they think it is, that's an important enough issue by itself, just from a almost a governmental point of view and a commerce point of view, and protecting the customer, all that kind of stuff that the government is so careful to do in business, is protecting the customer so that you can't be sold something that's fake. So when I then thought of the vocal coaching angle, which of course I see on my channel as well, that potentially students are going to be listening to voices and getting down on themselves that they're not as accurate as that vocalist, but they don't know the vocalist they're listening to isn't as accurate as themselves because they're not doing it. Right. So there's so much, there's so many levels to it, that just being honest it is going to help so many different areas of music, not only maybe giving the younger generation of singers a little bit more confidence to think, oh, right, that's why it sounds like that, because it doesn't have the logo on it. But this other person who does have the logo, that's the voice that I can maybe learn from, see what they're doing. And if they want to analyze it with pitch monitoring software, they can see how accurate they are to A440. And, shock horror, it's not going to be on the lines. And then they'll think, oh, so my vocal accuracy is similar to my idols. And, that is such, I don't know, an inspiring thing, but a motivational thing to think that, oh, I'm not as bad as I thought I was, because now I know what I'm listening to. And just by bringing that in, when you mention about the artistic applications of auto-tune, for example, in different genres of music, again, it's art. So people can do what they want. And those are the tools that they can use. And by bringing in mentioning, or people knowing when a particular bit of software or maybe live auto tunes being used, by bringing that in, we don't actually lose anything, because the people that use it artistically, everyone knows they use it. Exactly. So it's already open. But like you say, you've got that other side of things where you've got the artists that use it and it's obvious and they're quite open about it because that's their sound, that's their art. Then you've got the other side of things where they're using it and everyone says, oh, wow, you've got such an amazing voice. You're so accurate in that performance. And then there's silence. They don't say, oh, you know why? Because, yeah, I'm using auto-tune and I'm not that accurate, but it's just what I use live. There are some artists who do that, who say, oh, I use auto-tune live. And it's for the people that aren't saying it and might be very well-known singers. And then people are trying to sing like them and they don't understand why they can't do it. And it's like, well, it takes someone like me on the internet to point out that, well, they're not saying it, but I can show you and I can tell you and I can show you on a pitch graph that they are being tuned, that they are stuck to these lines. So yes, it's a huge part, I think, of society at the moment, where for some reason it's stopping at the music industry, where we've got this whole approach of accepting each other and all of our differences, and everyone's unique, and all of the flaws that you might have, embrace them, because we're all unique. Everyone's different. No one person is the same. So we'll come in different shapes and sizes, and to embrace that. And then as soon as we get to singing, it's like, oh, but don't embrace your voice. Change it.
Exactly. You're not enough. It's not enough just natural and it's got to be, which it is a comment on society too. I mean, we could look at this in almost every other aspect of art or fashion or the way people look. I mean, there's this whole hyper perfectionism thing is like a it's across the culture, it's across society. So, we're kind of fighting back against it here in the musical and audio and vocal world. So, man, super cool. Question for you about it. Do you think it's possible with AI development in the future to be able to develop a piece of software that can do your job for you, that with just it goes out and it can just do a deep detection of sort of a forensic level digital artifact discovery thing? Do you think some softwares like that in the future is possible to design?
I don't know. It's very difficult. I was talking recently with another vocal coach called Chris Lipe, who
Oh,
I
I
know.
know Chris. I follow Chris. Yeah, he's awesome. Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well, yeah, I was talking with Chris about this as well, and he was asking me lots of different questions about it. And he's done a quote for the website when it comes out, so he's kind of fully on board with it and supporting it, which is great. And again, he's from that vocal coach angle, saying that people need to know when they're learning to sing what is real and what isn't. So we were talking about this, and